Hey, it's Alistair here with Team Dabs and Duels and with my boy James. So I guess just James, tell him what you did yesterday here.
Oh, yesterday we took mekk-knight Invoked to the 2018 Calgary OTS at Metal Galaxy and made top 4.
Pretty good. You want to get into the deck?
That's it. So, for the monsters, free Alistair. Nothing really to say there, you run 9 of these guys in the deck pretty much no matter what. 3 mekk-knights Purple Nightfall, 3 mekk-knights Blue Sky, and for the bricks I run 1 Indigo Eclipse just to move them, and 1 Red Moon for just a little bit of removal.
Sure. How'd you like the mekk-knight engine?
I think it fixes a lot of the problems with Invoked as a pure deck. It's just, you get a bit more spamming, they plus off each other, you get some presence that ordinarily you wouldn't have. Ordinarily you'd just be sitting on a Mechaba and some hand traps. I think it just synergizes really well with the deck. So running 9 hand traps, running 3 Ash, 3 Ghost Ogre, and 3 Effect Veiler.
So with playing the 9 hand traps this time around, I know you were playing a bit of a higher count before. What made you want to kind of slim it down in a sense?
Well, I was running 15 before, like just pretty much all of them, except obviously Cherries, which I was siding. I don't like Droll too much at the moment. I don't feel like Droll hits the decks to beat as hard as it should, and Gamma just isn't consistent enough. You find you often want to use it on your opponent's turn sometimes. The drive is a problem. Kind of punishes you for running Desires, which you want to do. But honestly, I just think these are the best 3 across the board. I'd side Drolls if I had room, but I didn't.
Makes sense.
And then spells, the other 6 Alistairs, 3 Meltdown, and 3 Turf.
Pretty good engine.
Yeah,
It's always fun.
It sucks seeing multiples, but if you don't see one, you lose. So.
Fair enough.
2 Invocation. I wanted to run 3, but I couldn't find the 3rd in time, so I just made room for other stuff. 2 Desires. Would have ran it 3, but kind of needs the 3rd Invocation. Seeing it's nice. You're never really pissed off at seeing it, and you know.
Generic +2.
Draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
2 Instant Fusion. It came up a little more than I was expecting it to initially. I didn't have all the targets I wanted on the day, but it helped with a lot of the trickier mekk-knight column lineups. The targets I had at the time, like Raijin and Thousand Eyes, just some power plays in there, which eventually convert into link fodder. I think this is really good in the mekk-knight build. 3 Mind Control. You gotta run 3. It's so goddamn good. Such a sacky card, and again, it synergizes pretty well with the mekk-knights because you can put them where you want. You can't special those columns, but at least you're freeing columns up, and you can link off them. You can fuse with them if you don't want whatever they're hitting the grave if they float. It's just climb those link ladders with them. It's great.
It's pretty good.
And speaking of Saki cards, we ran the big 3: Brigeki, Dark Hole, and Monster Reborn.
It's pretty good, yeah.
And we also mained 2 evenly matched.
How was the evenly matched for you today?
I didn't like seeing it against Pendulum, but luckily I never did. I always got sided out, but there was a lot of True Draco, a lot of Trickstars, there was a bit of Paleo. I didn't see any Paleo, but I know some people were playing Paleo. Yeah, it came when I needed it, and I sided out when I didn't.
It's good. So your choice, side or extra?
I guess we'll do extra next.
Sure.
So for the extra, we ran 1 Elysium, the Mind Control, Monster Reborn, and Instant Fusion just made access to links easier, and if you link away an Invoke monster, your Invocation can make one of these guys, and it's pretty clutch. Banish it, banish everything they've got, it's pretty good. 2 Mechaba. I just like it at 2. 2 Purgatrio. I find in the grindier matchups having a second one of these was pretty good. Sometimes you just gotta link this away on your turn 4 and break the board a second time if it's grindy. 1 Raijin for the instant fusion target. On occasion I'd get drolled and then it'd come up as an actual fusion summon. It's situationally really good. The fact that it's a quickie and you can protect its activation with the meltdown is also pretty sweet. That's 1 instant fusion target that I ran. The other one was Thousand Eyes Restrict. Would have loved to have had Millennium Eyes, but just got it today. situationally, again, go into that under different circumstances, but more often than not, I'd go into the Raijin just to either bait and negate if I didn't have Meltdown, or Book of Moon, something that could if I did.
Makes sense.
For the links, we ran Overload, Decode, and 2 Underclock. With all the spamming and stuff you're doing, and all this monster stealing and all that good stuff, it's very easy to go into these before you fusion summon. And you got 2s, 3 and a 4, so there's climbing when you can. This didn't come up as often as I'd liked, and I think the one time it did really come up, it was like I could have outed what I needed to out other ways. But this is just, the amount of times this is enabled Purgatory OTKs is just stupid. So
Underclock's a very underrated card.
yeah, it's really good. And then just the Cherries targets, which was Electromite, Toad, ABC. And this is when you can tell that my extra deck lineup was messy and that I couldn't get all my targets. I was running this for Brilliant Fusion, but I never played against Lightsworn, so it didn't really mean anything. This, on the other hand, got me my invite. 3 rounds of ABC. Cherries came up in my opening hand. More than enough games.
It's pretty good, though.
Yeah. And then I got the side deck. MVP, 3 cherries.
I got you the invite, apparently.
Got enough targets, and yeah, against an ABC player, you banish that turn 1. It's just a matter of how long they can stay alive, really. It's hard to play through that. We ran 3D Barrier. This deck sucks going first, and you needed something to side in if you anticipated that. And most of the decks that I like to do that, Pendulum, stuff like that, it's pretty good. It's decent. We also ran 1 copy of Zombie War for True Draco. It's okay going first. It's just a searchable Mask of Restrict. And I'm running 3 Terraforming, so it just made sense.
It helps out if you already see the Meltdown, where you can just terraforming for that in like the game. And
oh yeah, like you do it. Yeah, like if you're not anticipating a like a True Draco trap for a True Draco summon on your turn, then this is just a faster Mask of Restrict, and you can get your Alistair. You can benefit from your responseless fusion summon. Then just pop this and pass. And ideally, unless they have diagram and they can pop stuff without you interrupting them, then yeah, this is going to stay and it's going to be a problem. Also True Draco, but never really came out that often. Came out like maybe 1 round of the entire tourney. Just 3 Kaijus, just 2 Gamma Seal, 1 Kamungus. I'm running enough like you should negate this spell cards that I didn't really want to run the 3 uniques and the Slumber.
Makes sense.
And this is where the side deck gets really spaghetti and where it becomes obvious that I just didn't have the cards I needed. We ran some back row hate, 2 Twin Twisters, 2 Cyclone, and a single Mystical Space Typhoon. Yeah. Fortunately, Evenly Matched did all of this for me, and this never came up.
None of these came up.
Yeah. I was terrified of Imperial Iron Wall, so I didn't really want to see this too often in those matchups where I was anticipating it, but I still ran it at 2 because there's enough floating spells and traps in the game that it just makes sense. Twin Twisters I previously hated in this deck just because you can seldom give up the 1 card in hand. The mekk-knights kind of help out with that, especially if you can get off like a blue sky special into a card with 2 columns up on your opponent's side. You essentially +1 off that, well, +2 if you keep the monster. The MST could have been literally anything else, but I just didn't have a lot of fat ideas for that 15th card.
Whatever, it worked.
It helped. And that's all she wrote.
Alright, man. With the deck here, you got your invite, you're on your way. Any shout outs you'd like to make back to the boys back home?
Oh, let's see. Shout out to Nicholas Green, Henry Rosvick, and Damon Irwin for... None of these guys play Yu-Gi-Oh, but they all got me hell drunk the night before, and I have them to thank for my first highly hungover OTS talk.
There you go.
Shout out to the judges, Jackson, Mike, and Lachlan for doing a fantastic job and keeping things clean and to the book, I certainly hope. And outside of that, just shout out to everyone who showed up and made it a great event.
Alright, that's Dabs and Duels, shining out.